Guys, my name's Jason. We're live, obviously, on Zoom. I'm coming to you from the holy city of Jerusalem for a lot of people, and an amazing city to live in. I'll just tell you a bit about myself. I'm originally from South Africa, and this is where I live now. I'm married. I live in Jerusalem. I've got a whole bunch of kids, and I work as a design architect for a whole bunch of companies around. I consult and I work within them, and obviously things have slowed down, so people have a lot of time to collaborate online now, and it's a fantastic place to be teaching everyone and to be sharing ideas. So let's see what we're seeing here. Suparo, loving your process of rendering in Photoshop at the concept stage. Typically, she says, typically we render from SketchUp to Enscape and worry about all the small details, which slows down the process. Okay, so you're saying something fantastic, Sue, because you are talking about doing a concept and then taking that concept into Enscapes. And Enscapes is a fantastic package, but you're doing high-end renderings. And when you take a look, for instance, at the image behind me, that's a high-end that's not a high-end rendering. That's a conceptual rendering. And when designers become quickly involved in rendering at the conceptual design process, it takes forever. There's so much time wasted on high-end rendering that you're so worried about lighting, you're so worried about textures, you're so worried about what the fabric on the couch looks like, and the vase with the flower in the middle of the lounge and how it's not reflecting nicely on the table. So if you're an interior designer, the same thing happens to architects, where they're worried about the reflection in the glass and what the swimming pool looks like and what the water looks like and what the light and the clouds look like and what the bird and the Boeing 747 that's flying over looks like. And people are losing track of the design because they're focusing on high-end rendering, and they're wasting thousands of hours, when at the basic stage you can get away with what's behind me because you can make it compelling. And in fact, the type of imagery that you see behind me is digested better by the client at an early stage, because the client really people are bombarded with photorealism all the time. And not only that, people are sick of photorealism because they see it authentically around them in the world. So now you're taking an image, you're rendering an image that looks like every day. So when you give them something that doesn't look like every day, their psychology taps into it quicker because it's easier to digest. It's like the difference between a cartoon, or let's call it it's just lighter on the intellect to create an image like I have behind, and people get really excited about it. Even a layman will get more excited about a rendering that isn't full of textures and isn't full of lighting. I hope you understand. Okay, so that was that question. John McLean, yes, agree with what you're saying about time wasting and with photorealistic rendering for concept. Absolutely. And the most important thing is you should be enjoying your design process. It shouldn't be, that feeling where you have the world on your shoulders. It doesn't matter if you're working for yourself or you're working with other people and colleagues, but you have that feeling of dread on your shoulders that, there's 12 hours to go, there's 10 hours to go, and now you're stuck rendering, and you're stuck in this process that is just making you sweat, and it feels like your kidneys are going to pop. And so what I'm saying is, my process, I avoid all of that, and I see people around me sweating sometimes when I work in these big companies, these big design firms, and I just slice through the design like a hot knife through butter. And people are there for days, and I'm like, come on, brother, you're making a big mistake. This is the conceptual design phase. Your job is to impress the client. You don't need to go as far as you think you need to go to do that. And it's basically a question of maturity, design maturity. And